देगा सही किया हो। Okay, let me share my screen. Yeah. So yesterday we discussed to here, right? And you were asking whether HANA and S4 HANA is different. That's what you asked, Yojana, right? Yesterday.
Yeah, yes, yes.
Okay, so this question nobody will ask you whether you have worked with the HANA or S4 HANA. They will simply say you have this all are common term actually. Okay, nobody will ask you this question that S4 HANA is different and HANA is different. There are some different
Okay.
variety of ERP we have in when we say HANA, and then we have I'll show you. Let me tell you those also. So this was the version history, right? R1, R2, R3, R4. S4 HANA is the latest one. Okay. Till now, R1, R2, R3, whatever software it was, SAP was providing, no, that application software. That software, the company or the customer has to install in their own system. Own system means own laptop. They call it server, right? Application server. Application server is nothing but a computer with a high-end configuration with the higher CPU, higher RAM, higher hard disk, all those things. So that we call a server actually. Okay. So earlier, the company need to have one system to install that software. But in S4 HANA, when the S4 HANA came, SAP also provided that you can use in premises or cloud software. Okay. Let so if I tell you like that, there are two further segregation actually. The first is cloud base. Okay, or this is your in premises. So HANA can be used in premises as well as cloud based HANA also you can use. Cloud based HANA, if you're using that means you don't need any server, you don't need any computer to install SAP. SAP will install SAP will give you the ID password, you don't even need, you can just install the GUI and you can access it. So the advantage of this cloud base, since that application server you are not having in your company, you don't need to bother about that, right? Whether that AC is working for that or not, the electricity, the power should not what you call the power should not go off for that application, right? If the power goes off, your application server will go off, or eventually your whole business will suffer, right? Because the ERP will itself will shut down. But in the cloud base, you don't need to worry about all those things, where to keep the server and all the maintenance. So basically, whatever your basis team does actually, right? I told you earlier, right? The basis team that handles the admin task, right? The administration of SAP. So then the basis module has a very limited scope actually, because the system itself, they don't own it. It's on the cloud. It's like a Gmail. Gmail, you don't install anything, right? You simply log into web and then you start using with the ID password. That's it, right? We don't bother where that Gmail software is running. So similar kind of provision SAP also provided. In premises means you need to have a server. So each option will have their own what do you call advantage and disadvantage. If you are going with the cloud base, obviously SAP will not give you free. SAP will charge you something, maybe monthly or some yearly service contract will be there. You need to pay to SAP, right, to use that. Because SAP somehow has to maintain that server, right? So it will not maintain it for free. So they will charge you something. But you don't have the headache of maintaining, and you don't need any headache, and you are free about how the application server is running, the cost and everything. You don't bother. But if it's in premises, you have the full control since the software is running in your computer in your company itself. But the problem here is you have to make sure that the power is supplied continuously. There is no power breakage. AC should be running continuously, right? Also, the job and everything you have to take care of that, whether the load is proper or not, everything. Since it's your own company, you own that application server or computer where the SAP is running. It's your headache now, but you have a better control. But nowadays, most of the companies are going with the cloud base only because it's a safer, and since it's SAP software, so it's better to pay some extra money and let them handle all those tension or headache. Now, if you go for cloud base also, then again it is further divided into two. Okay, One will be your public cloud. These terms you might come up when you will deal with this interview and all. So this question may be, you people may ask you, what is public cloud? What is private cloud? What is in-premises SAP? What is you can call it cloud based, or you can call it like what do you call uh, off premises also. Basically, it's a simple thing. You are not you owning it, so that's what you call it cloud based. Okay. Now, as I said, cloud based is further divided into two: public cloud and private cloud. Both are, you don't own the software. As I said, these two are part of your cloud base only. So in both the cases, you don't own a server, you don't have a system. Everything SAP is taking care. But why we have two options actually? This private cloud is something SAP will give you. You can understand is something like SAP gives you your own private SAP. So you can do whatever you want to do it with it, right? You can do all your customization. You want some document type creation, you want some enhancement to be done, you coding and everything. Okay, basically the scope of enhancement is only limited to you because you only own that. It's own private property, right? I can do anything whatever I want. But if you are going with the license of public cloud, then you don't have that flexibility of changing the coding and all, because public cloud is something, it's a common. Let's say we three are running a company, okay? We three are using a public cloud. So if I change the core functionality, the background programming, if I change for my company, it will impact you two businesses also, right? Your two process also will get impacted because the coding at the SAP is common, right? So when we go for public cloud, when the business can run their own process with all the standard configuration, they will not do any enhancement. They may create your own document type, that's fine. But in the background coding, they will not do anything. There is no scope of doing that. So which company uses public cloud? Some small companies use for public cloud because they can handle the process with the standard one only. But whenever there is a big company like Tata Steel or any such big company, they cannot do the business as per the SAP standard process what SAP is providing. So they definitely need some enhancement. Okay, they cannot run it. They will have so many different business process, different scenarios. Okay, that they cannot. It's not even possible to go with the SAP standard. They have to go with the enhancement. They need some enhancement to be done in the SAP so that the requirement are met. So they cannot go with the public cloud. They have to go with the private cloud only. Okay, that's the big difference basically. Now, again, there is some advantage. If you are using public cloud, as I said, everything you will be using whatever SAP has already provided. You are not doing any changes. So if you're not doing any changes, if anything goes wrong, you have full authority and full power. You can go to SAP and you can ask them, boss, this software is not working, check it. SAP has to check it. But if you are doing some enhancement, let's say a big company, they have done a lot of enhancement in their company, they have written a lot of ABAP code and all. If something is not working as expected, then they cannot go to SAP. I mean, they can reach out. But if SAP finds anything related to that custom coding and all, they will simply raise their hand. They will say, boss, this is a custom coding. We cannot help you. You need to take help from the service provider or someone else. You have to take care. We cannot help you. Because SAP is providing a software. If anything goes wrong with that functionality, they can handle. But if you have written your own code, that code SAP will not check, even though they are capable. But it's like if they analyze it and if they give you the reason and all, it's kind of free service you're getting from SAP, right? So nobody will do that. Okay, so whenever you raise the issue, let's say we come up this problem many times actually. As I said, big companies will not write a lot of coding and ABAP coding in the backend, and sometimes it will not be compatible with the SAP standard functionality. So sometimes the output is not what we expected. That will not come. We go to SAP, then SAP checks something, and SAP simply says, then oh, this coding is there, this enhancement you have done, so we cannot help you. You have to check it by your own, because it's not when if you see from the SAP perspective, let's say you are the working in SAP, you own the SAP. There are thousands of companies they are using SAP, right? Each company will write their own coding. There are a lot of web developers and all those development team is there, right? It's not humanly possible to read every code, right? It's not even possible. One company will write a different kind of coding, different structure, different technique they will use. Another company will use different technique. So SAP just check if it's a G or custom enhancement, they will simply come out, they will say we cannot help you. But if anything goes wrong with the standard process, then you have to take care. They will see, they will analyze it. And sometimes this also happens that SAP, when the SAP releases some software, some updates, sometimes few functionalities are not working as SAP expected. But what happens sometimes without proper testing, or let's say something misses out actually, because it's, as I said, SAP is a very big and very vast software. Sometimes what happens, some functionality is not working as per the expected. So then we raise, or the customer raises the concern, then SAP also acknowledges it, and then they fix that. Then they provide some update. How SAP provides the update? They provide as update in form of note. So that we call it S note. Okay. If someone call you what is S note, SAP note, so then you need to tell some sort of solution or some software update, small software update. Okay, it's not the big one. Like you cannot go from ECC to HANA with the S note. Okay, this is a different software update because you are going to a completely what you call the big change you are doing, right, from ECC to HANA. But let's say in HANA only, let's assume like as a, like in India, this GST came right in 2017. So India is a big company. There are so many, I mean, big countries. So there are a lot of companies who are using SAP. So what happens whenever that there is some legal kind of change which government is imposing, some to that time SAP also provides some solution. Okay, GST it came in India. Okay, let's do the let me provide you some solution. Then SAP also provides some solution. Now it's up to you whether you want to use with the SAP solution, or you, I mean, the SAP provided solution, or you want to go with your custom solution. So if you want to go with the SAP solution, then you need to install that S note. So S note will be containing the solution only related to that GST thing. So it can handle the GST scenarios. So like for those reasons, SAP provides the S note thing. Okay, clear so far? What is public cloud? What is private? In premises, cloud based SAP. Any questions so far?
Once can you repeat estimate?
Prasad, I'm not. You're not audible in case you're speaking. I see you are speaking something, but
Am,
I cannot hear you
now am
properly.
I audible, Deepak?
You're audible, but your voice is very low. I don't know whether it's for me.
Okay. Once can you repeat estimate?
S Note is a software. Let's see, when you are using Android or something, you're using Android phone, right?
Yes, yes.
Okay, so what happens in the Play Store? You get updates, right? In the WhatsApp and say for any software, you get update for application, right? So similarly, SAP also provides some update. As I said, time to time, SAP also, as I said, SAP also does a lot of research and enhancement. And as I said, sometimes the legal changes are there in some country. Then SAP has to change its software slightly to fulfill that requirement. So that software update SAP provides in form of S Note. Okay, so S Note is nothing but your kind of small software update, you can say. Small software update that will provide what? It will provide you some solution. Okay, like in when GST came, then SAP released a lot of S Note. Then company installed that S Note. Obviously, you will not install it. Who will install this S note and all? The basis team needs to do that. You need to find out which note is applicable and all. Then you will give the number. S note comes in the form of number like this. Okay, this kind of number it will have, some number it will have. Then you need to tell to basis team, boss, I need to have this S note in my system. Can you please install it? Can you please update this note? Okay, like this we need to send a mail to the basis team. Then they will download this S note and they will update in your SAP. Then you can see all those changes whatever SAP has provided in this update. Okay, just a brief info. What if someone asks you what is S note? So then you can tell this one. Clear?
So Gateway Park is using public cloud, Deepak,
Your
or
voice is very low.
pri-
Yajna, for you also it's slow, or like only for me it's slow?
no, no, like Gateway Park is using public cloud or private cloud, Deepak.
Wait, wait, wait. Yeah, come again, come on.
Like Gateway Park is using public cloud or private cloud, Deepak.
This okay. I don't know actually. We can check that one. We'll check that one. Okay. Mostly they must be using public cloud only. You are asking public or private. You're saying, right?
Yes, yes, Deep.
Yeah, mostly it will private only. Okay,
Okay.
because in private, you, as I said, you have a scope of enhancement. Okay, you can do anything you can do because it's your own property. You are paying SAP only for your own service, right? Like it's owning a hotel room in your company. If you are owning the whole room, it's up to you how you want to use it. But if it's a shared room, then you have to follow some rules and regulations, some ethics and civic sense you have to follow, right? Okay, you cannot play music loud in that room because other people are also using the same room, right? So, okay, same sort of thing you can understand here. Okay, enhancement you can do. Okay, enhancement is possible. But here enhancement, I mean enhancement is possible, but very limited scope is there. Okay. So this is all about the SAP architecture. This is all, as I said, if you are only in the interview, only this course kind of question may come up. In day-to-day life, we don't bother whether it's because see, when you are logging into SAP, whether it's a private, then you never go whether it's in premises, all those things. Okay. But in interview, this kind of question may come up. What is public cloud? What is private cloud in premises and all those things. So for that reason, I thought of telling you. Okay. Now also yesterday you were saying, Kusman, right, that the training will be done in the Fury or in the GUI, right?
Yes, Deepak. Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
So there is nothing such thing we call it the training in Fury, Kusman, because I said everything what you do in GUI, that same thing you can do with Fury. So there is no such thing you can say the training on Fury. What I'll tell you what kind of question comes when someone asks you whether have you worked with the Fury or not. They'll simply ask you app name. Like, oh, tell me the app name for sales order creation. That's it. They just want to see whether you are familiar with the Fury or not, how the Fury looks like, that much only. Okay. As I said, as a consultant, most of our 99% of work we will be doing in the GUI method only. Okay, as I said, Fury is a very new, and there are a lot of its changes and updates are coming in the Fury time to time. Okay, so Fury is mostly for end users, not for us. Okay,
So for
because
every T code, we have a separate app in the Fury,
no,
right?
it's not like this, but yeah, you can say 90% of the app will have the Fury app. But sometimes what will happen, there will be few T code for which there is no app. Okay, and it's vice versa also. Sometimes you will find some app that will give you some sort of output that is not possible in GUI. Like I said, you can create your pie chart, bar graph, all those things, reports you can do in Fury, that graphical reports. That is not possible in GUI. Okay, but yeah, 90% of the cases, every T code, some app will be there. Okay, now let's go back to our document where we left. So as I said, when you will be working as a consultant, you will be working along with a different module, different consultant who will be working in different module. Let's say we are working as a PSD consultant. There will be some different MM module, PP module consultant will be there with whom you will be working closely in day to day. Apart from them, there are two other module, three other module that you will be working. As I said, one is ABAP module, that coder, that ABAP coding who will do the development team. This is one of the team you will be working closely whenever you are doing any enhancement, then you will be working with the ABAP module. Basis module sometimes you will be working when, because let's say you are running a background job. Let's say you want in your company that I will create only the order. Okay, in VA01 I will create the order, and delivery creation it should happen automatically. Nobody should go and VL01 and VL01 and VL04 or VL10B. You want to eliminate that. So what you can do, you can set a background job that will automatically create the delivery wherever that order is created. So now what happens, that background job can impact the performance of your SAP software, because I said SAP also runs on a computer, right? Let's say this is my computer I'm running. Let's say I'm running a lot of other software. I'm running let's say I'm running to multiple Chrome tabs. I'm running a let's say Photoshop also running. There are a lot of heavy software I'm running. Then my soft system will slow down, right? So similarly, same thing happens with the SAP also. If you're running too much process at the same time, your system will slow down. So whenever you're running any background job kind of stuff, you need to check with your basis team only. You will send all the detail to the basis team and then you will ask them, please schedule. So then they will see At what time system is free? Mostly what happens? Most of the time in the daytime, this SAP will be loaded because people are logging, people are working, they will log in, they will do some transactions, they will fetch some report, they will prepare some report, right? So that time load will be there. But at the midnight, nobody is active, right? So that time system is idle mostly. So most of the background job we try to schedule in the night. So what we do? We send it to basis team, boss, I need this background job to be scheduled. Then they schedule it. So for that purpose, you will need the basis module, the person. Then there is another, what do you call? Another team with whom you will be working. Just wait, I will log in that. See, when you are trying to access SAP, you are putting some user ID, right? Like you are putting some king. So this is my user ID. Who will give me who will give me this user ID? So there is some team who creates these IDs. So that team we call it security team in SAP. Okay. So job what the security team does? They will create the ID and also the, as I said, authority. Let's say I am supposed to create order. So that security team will ensure that I have only access for sales order creation. So authority related stuff and creation of ID and all that will be taken care by the security team. Okay. So that is that was also one of the important team actually who you will be working closely in day-to-day life. Let's say you are trying to create something and you are getting some error. So then who you need to reach out? You need to reach out to the security team. Boss, I'm trying to do this one, but I'm getting this authority related error I'm getting. So they will check and then they will see whether you are eligible or you are the right person to do that transaction or not, and then they will provide you. Okay, let's go ahead. Yeah, as I said, ERP, what ERP does basically? What is the main function of ERP? General answer. What is the main function of ERP?
Manages the business.
Manages
Business.
business, manage resource actually, right?
Yeah, yeah,
You are
yes.
basically managing resource. So eventually you are maintaining the business, right? So what are those? What do you call? For any company, what are the resources? There are four resources only. It could be machinery, it could be material, it could be
Manpower.
man, it could be money. That's it. There are these four only, right? Resource for a company. These only are the four resources, right? So these four things only SAP controls basically. If you see an higher level, okay. Now, why SAP is very popular? Because it gives, as I said, it gives solution very compatible and very user friendly. Okay.
Okay,
And
so
yeah,
out of this four, this SAP comes under machine like manpower or material.
sorry, come again.
So SAP, can you come again with the ERP once again?
Yeah, as I said, ERP is a software that will see what is the full form of ERP? Enterprise Resource Planning.
Risk planning.
So, what is resource for any company? What do you need to run a company? You need some machinery, some sort of tool, then you will need some material, you will need some manpower, and some money related stuff, right? So these are the resource for any company. That's it.
Okay.
Let's take example of Tata Steel. What is the resource for Tata Steel? The manpower who will do the production and all, the machinery which they will be used to produce the material, some raw material they will purchase, and the money. These all force only they needs to be controlled, and these all fully needs to be what do you call organized. That's what ERP does. Okay. And as I said, it's very integrated product because as I said, there are a lot of other department and other softwares and other government portal that you need to connect with when you are using a ERP. Because as I said, let's say we are filing ITR, right? At every year. Similarly, company also need to file ITR. So every year they need to send the data to the government portal. They need to download something. So all those things they want automated. Okay, no, they don't want someone to do it manually because, as I said, whenever you are doing manually, there is that process is prone to error actually. Not only the government GST portal. Let's say what will happen now when you are using, let's say, as I said, when you are sending any goods from your company to end customer. So what you will do generally, there will be a truck will be coming to your company, right? First, because let's say the good which you are going to send, it's a big one. Let's say you need to deliver 10 fridges. So what you will do, you will ask some vehicle to come into your company, right? Some truck will come. Then the truck will say, I will charge based on the what do you call weight. For 100 kg, I will charge some 1,000 rupees or something. So then what you will do, you need to what do you call weight that truck, right? How much is the initial weight before loading? What is the weight after loading? All those things. Even not in, let's say, even if the transporter is not charging you as per the weight basis, you need to have that weightage, right? Because every truck or every lorry will have their own capacity. If you overload it and then you send it, maybe the police will caught them. Why your overloaded truck is going outside, right? So eventually you will also you will also going to get into some trouble. So that loading happens actually. Now what will happen? That loading software will be provided by some third party. SAP don't provide the loading software. Now what happen? That loading software will load or it will wait that truck. Then that data we need to send it to SAP also, right? Because eventually as I said, since your main ERP is SAP. So all those data has to come to SAP and then the data has to go backward also. Okay, sometimes only one directional, sometimes it's a bi-directional. So that data, just one second, guys. Yeah, sorry. See, as I was saying, so that weight machine or load machine will have another software that needs to be integrated with the SAP, right? Then SAP is very compatible with those kind of third-party software. So that's why SAP has become very popular actually. And again, the data security. Whenever you are doing any transaction, you are running any business, the data is very crucial, right? You don't want to disclose uh, the data to the public and to the other companies, right? So that data security is also very high in SAP. So these are few reasons why the SAP became very popular. Okay, now all you can ignore, no problem. Uh, Yeah, so this is the architecture. I think we already discussed that presentation layer that users are or maybe the consultants are using with that GUI software. Through this GUI, they are using the main software, right? The application server, the SAP basic. This is the main SAP actually. And then this is the database. This is the architecture of R3 actually. So this is why you see the presentation and application and database. In HANA, as I said, there is one more layer in between the presentation and application layer. But as I said, nobody will ask you, so don't worry about that. If someone asks you what is R3 architecture, you need to tell these three: presentation, application, database. Okay. Now this is architecture. Okay. Pay attention to the word actually. This is architecture. Architecture means some sort of structural construction of the SAP actually. Now this is another term, SAP Landscape. Any software development, okay, any software development, how the cycle goes actually. First, the development team will do some development, right? They will test first whether that functionality is working properly or not. Then they will send it to whom? They will send it to some tester. There will be some testing team who will do the testing. They will test everything because they are the trained people to test the software. They will test from each perspective. Then everything is fine. Then only they release it to the end user or to the customer. Like every software, let's say you are getting some update in WhatsApp, the same process follows actually. The development team first develop that software, that update, they test it, then they give it to some testing team, they test it, and then everything is fine. Then you get an update in your WhatsApp. Okay. So see, all the software works the same cycle actually. SAP also works the same cycle. Let's say you have to do some development. So you directly don't change in the live system. This is the live system where the day-to-day transactions are happening. Here actually the sales orders are being created, deliveries are being created, invoice are being created. So you don't change directly in the production system. Okay. There is a different system for that. Development system. We call it development server. Then we have quality system. So development system where development team will do the development. Okay. Then again the development team will be further divided into two category actually. As I said, when we do any changes with the SAP standard configuration, let's say I'm creating a document type, that is another type of development that is being done by a functional consultant, right? When the ABAP people write a code, that is being done by the ABAP module. So that development system will be a different system actually. Okay. Sometimes these both system are combined and they call it only development system, but mostly they use both different systems they use actually for consultant and for ABAP team. Now, after that, the development is done. They do some initial testing, the development team, and when they find it okay, they transfer it to quality. Okay. Then in quality, everybody you will test. You, the end users, okay. Those people will test, and then once they find everything okay, they will ask the changes to be moved to the production. Means basically they will ask the update to be pushed to production system. And if let's say if they find some problem here itself, then they will not push the changes to production because that could impact the day-to-day process, right? Because this is the live system they are using. So then what happens? You will give the feedback to the development team about this is not working. If I click here, some dump is coming. Okay, then the development team will fix that error. Then again, the same process flow will happen. So this is your landscape. Okay, first of all, this is landscape. This is architecture. Don't get confused. Since both are three only, so sometimes people get confused whether architecture or landscape. Landscape is development, quality, production. Clear? Any doubts so far?
No, no.
Okay. Now, as I said, development system that will be used to configure the client business process. When we say configure the client business means, let's say you are creating a document type, you are creating a condition type, okay, and you are creating some item category. All those things, whatever we do, that we do, you call it configuration. Okay. And as I said, development server, this development server only the development team will be using. When I say development team, I'm including us also, okay, not only the web development, because we are also some sort of developer only, right? We are not the end users, right? So all this development server will only be accessible to us, to the functional consultant, and to the development team. End user will not be given access to the development server because it's a very the development is still going on. So why they need this one? Once something is ready, we have something developed, then we push it to quality, right? And then we ask the user to test. Not every user, because see, when you have like 100 of users who are using SAP, so then there you need to have some team, let's say 5 people or 10 people who are what do you call who are more familiar and they are comfortable with the SAP, they know the process as well, right? So that kind of person we call it core user. So first you give access to the move the changes to quality, then you ask those core user to test it. Boss, please check whether the software is working properly as per the intended requirement or not. They will test it. If everything is fine, then you will move it to the production system. Okay. Here it is written production server will be used by the end user and core user. Fine. Consultant will not have access to production system. This is wrong actually. We will not do transactions here. Okay, you cannot create VA01, but you can check VA03. All the display T code you will have. Okay, let me log in here. Let's assume this is my production system. Then in that production system, I cannot run VA01 because I'm not the end user, right? I'm a consultant. So this VA01,
So this one,
yeah.
this is with server development or
No, this
production.
is,
If
if you ask me, this is a development system only. This is not quality, this is not production. Okay, in production, how you can find out also, you see, in production system, you cannot see these changes. These all will be disabled. When you open a production system, no, this all will come like this only. You cannot do configuration changes directly in production. And what I said earlier, development will be done in the development system. So any change, any creation of document type, all these, you cannot do in production. That is possible. You can unlock it. Okay. Like in the same like we do, right? In the Apple iPhone, you put a jailbreak. In the Android, you put it like routing and all. That is possible. But that's the illegal route or something which SAP will not support, right? So in production system, you cannot change anything directly. Any changes is required, you need to follow the same process: development, quality, then production. Okay. This same whatever we are doing in this system, this is completely development. That's why you can do any changes, any any configuration changes, anything you can do. Okay,
And
but
we as a consultant are going to use this development system
development
again
system.
only.
We are going to use all the three systems basically. Development also, quality also, production also. But in development and quality, I can create sales order, I can create delivery, that's fine because that's a dummy system, that's a false data we are creating. But in production system, I cannot create sales order. Even I will not even be given the access also because I don't know who is the customer and all, right? We are not bothered about who the end customer is, how to collect money, what is the price and all. Those all business people will know. They will do the transaction. If they face any problem, then they will come to you. Boss, I'm not able to create order. My price are not coming properly. Then you need to check, right? How you will check if you don't have access? So what will happen? You will have the access, but only for display. Okay. So as I said, you can always go to VA03. You can see the existing order. You see, when you go to display, everything is disabled, but you can see whatever user data, I mean, data user has entered. You can go to the line item, you can see the condition, everything you can see. But you cannot change anything in the production system. When I say you, means as a consultant, you cannot change. Okay, these all changes will be done by the user only. Even if you, let's say, I want to make it 200. So what we do actually, we ask the end user to change. Okay, we ask them, boss, please log into the SAP, go to the change mode of this sales order, uh, 5730, and then you change the price to 200. It should fix your problem. Because I don't even have the app, I don't even have the access, I cannot change it. So that changes whatever will be required in the production system, any transactional data that end user are supposed to do. We cannot change it. Okay. Now, as I said, user will not have the development system access because user, when see any software, when it's in development, any software which is in the development phase, it's very new, right? So many bugs will be there. So why you want to bother our user to test in the development system unless until something concrete is ready. When something concrete is ready, you move it to quality. Then you ask your end user. Now something is ready, you can check it now. Okay, so this is how any enhancement works in a SAP actually. Okay. Now, yeah, see, this is development system, this is your quality, this is your production. So whatever we are using this SAP, right? This is this only, development only. Okay. Even quality system also you cannot do any configuration. This is also locked. This quality and production is locked for any development. Any config change, any enhancement you cannot do in these two systems. The development in the quality and in the production. Whatever you have to do, you have to do in the dev system only. Quality system, sometimes we call it test system also, okay? Because here the actual users are testing those software or those development. So we call it test system or quality system. Okay. This is your development, this is your production. Now, so how it works, as I said, let's say you are doing some configuration, development team is here. It is assumed that the development team and what you call the consultant and the web team both are doing in the same client. But I will tell you further. But as of now, you understand it. There is a development system where both teams work. We as a consultant will do some testing or development. The web coding will do some development. Then we'll do some initial testing, right? It's not like we'll do something and we'll simply move. First level of testing we do here. So that development team will do that testing. Then we find something okay. Then we move it to quality team. Then quality, as I said, the end user will test thoroughly because anyway that end user are going to use in the production system also, right? So before getting the confirmation, before getting the green flag from them, it's not right way to move the changes to production. So then you move to quality, then you ask them, boss, you test it. They will test everything. Then you get some mail, some confirmation, some sort of assurance that okay, this software or the development is working as expected. Then you move the changes to the production. So if anything goes wrong, you can always blame the testing, I mean the end user, right? There's, you people only tested in the test system, no? That time you have not raised the issue. Okay, this kind of situation actually comes in the real world also. Okay. No, this is what I said as a development, quality, and production. Clear so far?
Yes, yes.
Okay. Now, these all are just implementation project actually. Yeah, now how SAP is implemented or how SAP gets implemented. Let's say there is a new company. Let's say today I opened a very big company, I want to use SAP. So there were few methodology actually, few methods actually. In simple, what you will say, there are few methods how you implement SAP. Okay, so before HANA, this was the methodology which we were using. That was ASAP methodology. Okay, and the full form is accelerated SAP. Now this is not being used, but you need to know what is ASAP actually. Now you are using agile methodology. Okay, this is ASAP. So what are the steps in ASAP actually? I'll give you a very brief idea. So this has five phases of this project, right? The first stage is like project preparation. So what we do in project preparation? Let's see one by one. So it's a phase where you decide who will be your what do you call implementing partner. When you are, let's say when you are when you have decided to use SAP, right? So you are buy the software from SAP, but you need some team also, right? Some consulting company, maybe the Infosys, IBM, Capgemini, Deloitte, some company you need to do that implementation. SAP will not do everything. Even SAP provides also that kind of services also, that implementing and all, but that will be a costlier one actually. So most of the company don't use the SAP software directly, the SAP services. They buy the software and they get it implemented with some local team actually. Okay. So those kind of decision will be taken in the project preparation phase only. Who will be your project manager? Who will be your finance manager? Who will be the technical head? You all this team needs to be created. All those things, right? So that we do in the project phase. We, as I said, it's a high level preparation only happening, right? Which company and all. So that time consultant, we are not doing anything, right? We don't know, like when these discussions will be happening. No, you will not be even included in all these discussions as a consultant. Once you become project manager and all, then you will have, okay, even you are technical lead or something, then you will be, maybe you will be including in these kind of discussions. But in as a consultant, you people will never be included in these discussions. Okay. Now, yeah, this is as I said, the project preparation. Now, also, whenever you are buying SAP, right? So, SAP is very costly actually. What SAP does actually, it charges based on the user ID. Like where we are using one ID, right? Our username is user, right? When I logged in SAP, you must have seen that ID, right? This user, I mean, this king. So, the king is one user ID. So SAP sells the license in this form also, that for 100 user ID you have to charge me this, you have to pay me this much. For 200 ID, if you are going to use, you have to pay me this much. So number of user or number of user ID SAP charges. There is also a plan for unlimited user also, but that, I mean, it's simple business thing actually. So big company buys the what do you call, the unlimited plan actually, because they will have n number of user. So if they go and pay for each user ID wise, they have to pay a lot of money. So SAP has provided that what do you call that option as well. You can buy the unlimited end user or limited user ID, and then you can create whatever user ID you want to create. Okay, so all those things discussion will happen in the project preparation phase only. Okay, initial phase, and then landscape decision. Anyway, SAP suggests, as I said, SAP suggests to go with the three server. As I said, the changes directly you can do in production, but it's not recommended. As I said, development system, whatever you are doing in the quality also, this I said, these two are will be locked actually in real world. But when I say it is locked, you can unlock it also, but it's not recommended, because as I said, if you are doing directly change in the production system or life system, if anything goes wrong, everybody will come and blame you only. Why you did these changes in directly production system? Now I'm not able to create my order. Who will be the responsible person now? There's so much loss happening in the company now because of you. So it's not recommended. So SAP suggests to go for three server, and every company follows the same uh, suggestion actually. Development, quality, production. Okay. Then all this thing, infrastructure and all that, how much PC and all these things, is all things we discuss. Implementation part, as I said, who will be your implementation partner? It could be IBM, it could be Infosys, right? So those decisions also we take in the preparation stage. Then this is the what do you call uh, a rough idea how much time it takes to implement SAP in any company in the ASAP methodology. Okay, this all whatever we are discussing is the ASAP methodology, and as I said, now this is not being used, but you need to know it. So project phase, it takes some 3 months. Blueprint, it takes some 6 months. Realization, some again 6 months. Then final step 3 months, and go live and testing. Okay, this again 3 months. So okay, now I think when I say go live and testing actually, so when you are using, when you have decided to use SAP, right, then you decide one day, okay, let's say 27th of March 2027, I will be using SAP. Means from that day onwards, I will start using the transaction in SAP. I will not use my traditional method. So that day we call it as a go live date. Go live date means that day onwards, all the transaction will be done in SAP. Okay. So see that client, anything, let's say pharma client or anything, will start using the SAP, or the date client will start entering day-to-day transaction. Okay. So that's the production system use date actually. Okay. Then this all kickoff and all not required. You can ignore all this. Mm, yeah. Now the second phase is business blueprint. Now in business blueprint, what we do, then again business blueprint is also divided into 5 steps actually. So what you do in business blueprint, you speak with the business how they are doing the transaction, how they are selling, how they are purchasing, how they are manufacturing, all those things you collect all those information and you document it. Okay, so that documentation you call it business blueprint. Now, as is. Okay, these two terms you will be coming in an interview also. What is as is, what is to be, what is gap analysis. Okay, so as is means how SAP, I mean how that company or the client is using the process, how they are doing the process actually, that we call it as is. Okay, that's simple. As is how they are doing, that's without any change, that we call it as is process. Okay, to be means let's say they are saying, okay, I'm creating a sales order, then I'm creating a delivery, and then I'm delivering the goods to the end customer. So then you will say, okay, the similar kind of process I have in SAP. So we can use this process. So that process in SAP, what we are going to suggest, that we will be saying is to be. Now sometimes what happen, the business will be doing some process, some sort of selling, some sort of manufacturing, that SAP has not provided that solution. So that you call it gap, because that functionality you don't have in SAP now. So that we call it gap analysis. Now how you will fulfill it? You will do some development with the help of ABAP development or any development tool you will sit with, and then you will do that development. Okay. So gap analysis is whatever business process this client is doing, if it is not available in SAP, that we call it gap. Okay. Now, and as I said, most of the company, even SAP also recommends to go the standard only. Okay. The minimal or the minimum the development, the minimum the problem actually. Okay, the more you the standard functionality you use, the more comfortable you are. Okay, so this is what, and so generally as a thumb rule, as I said, it's not possible to run the whole business as per the SAP standard. So some, as a thumb rule, we go for 90-10 actually. 90% of the functionality we will use SAP, and 10% we go for enhancement. So this is a thumb rule actually. Okay, and each company can, it will differ in each company, but that's a thumb rule. Okay. So as I said, in business blueprint, SAP consultant comes into picture. Not as the SD consultant, every consultant will be coming into picture in the business blueprint. Because now they need to see how they are doing the business. As a sales consultant or SD consultant, I want to know what kind of services they are doing, what kind of goods they are selling, how they are selling from plant or from company. Okay, how whether the transportation they are only taking care. All those processes I need to know. Then only I can suggest something, right? Okay, use this process and all. So in business blueprint, what happens? Requirement gathering. So there will be some room created that there the end user will be sitting, right? And then you will also will be sitting in this one room. As a consultant, you will go to room one. Let's say there is another room created for purchasing department. So they here all this discussion will happen related to purchase. And then we collect all those information and then we document it. Okay. So that we call it requirement gathering. Then there will be a document created that we call it business blueprint. In general terms also you must have heard this blueprint. So blueprint is basically everything in the detailed manner that we prepare actually, that we call the BPP. As I said, these all are done in the ASAP. Now we don't have this BPP kind of stuff now. Okay, I'll tell you what we are using now currently, but let's first understand what was done in the ASAP methodology actually. Okay, so this again it will take some 3 months to gather all those information and all to as is how they are doing, how it will be done to be in SAP, then the gap analysis and all. You see, like if say someone says that okay we are having some sort of store where we keep the good and the customer comes and buy, so then you can say okay then we can do the we can use the cash sale process. We have similar kind of functionality in SAP. You can use this functionality cash sale process for your outlet kind of process. So this is to be okay, this is how it is mapped actually. Now as I said gap where there is no solution in SAP standard, so then we call it a gap. It's a very what do you call generic term SAP uses actually. So that's a gap. So then you will do some development. Okay. Then as I said, when you are going to do some development or some custom enhancement, then also you need to estimate the effort also, right? How much time it will take technical team to do, how much time functional team will require to do that custom enhancement. Those all we capture here actually. Okay. Then and then we get the sign off. When the BPP is ready, we send the document to them, all those as is, to be, those gap analysis, how much time we'll require to do that custom development and all, everything we document, then we send it to the business. When I say business means the company who are going to use it actually, then we get a sign off, then we move to the new phase, I mean the next phase actually, okay. This all you can go through, okay. These all are not important, but I just wanted to give you a basic idea how it looks like, okay. So now you have all the information, how the business is doing the transaction and all, I mean how they run the business. So in the realization phase, you start doing the configuration actually. Okay. You see, we log into the development server and we start configuring the business process. So that is what we do in realization. So we are now realizing the actual process in the SAP. So that's what we call it realization as a very generic statement actually. Okay. Now there will are two type of configuration, baseline and final. So you can ignore this one. I think you will get confused if I explain you this one now. Um, you leave it as of now. Okay, we'll discuss maybe later. And this nobody asks an interview question also because even if I explain you will not understand. So as of now we ignore it. So as I said in the realization we are doing the changes and all. Now, whenever we are doing any change, okay, let us go to SAP again. Let's say this is my development system. We are in the realization phase. We are doing some, as I said, SAP has some, let's say this example only. Let's talk about this example only, right? The cash sale process. So SAP has provided the CS, but in SAP, how we use actually SAP, we don't use the standard directly. What we do, we create a copy and then we use the document type. This is what SAP also recommends. So that what happens, your original document type and original configuration will always be what do you call remain unimpacted actually. It will always be there as it is. You can copy and then you change whatever you want to change. Okay, so let's say I want to create a inquiry. So what I will do, I can use this document type directly. I can use this IN, but it's not recommended. So what we do actually, we select it and we copy it. Okay, and then we give it our own nomenclature. Let's say I'm giving ZIN8 or something, and then I can give anything my name also. Let's say my name something. I can give whatever name. Then press enter. Okay, it's already existing. We have to use some other name. Let's say 7. Yeah, I will say yes. Now let's save it. Okay, now see here. What I have done, I am trying to create a document type. So whenever you are doing any change, right? So that change will be stored in a in a TR actually. Okay, TR means transfer request. So this is the TR number. Okay, in layman language you can understand this as a bucket where your changes will be kept. Okay, as I said earlier, when you are doing any change in the development system and you want to move it to the next system, the develop quality system, right? Let's say we have done the change in the development. Now you move it to quality. How you will move it? So that bucket you need to tell them, well, transfer this TR number. Okay, so that TR is nothing but a kind of bucket which contains your changes. Okay, now if you go here, there are two type of TR.
Also, TR full form is transport
Yeah,
request,
transport
right?
request. Okay, where that went? Yeah, no, not this. Yeah, two type of TR will be there. What kind of TR this is? It's a customizing TR, right?
Customizing TR.
So
Customizing.
customizing means whatever you are doing, a standard configuration that changes will be stored in the customizing tier. Okay, there are some exception cases also that we will cover later. As of now, you understand whatever we consultant do changes, whether you create a document type, whether you create item category, you create an invoice type, everything, whatever you do, that changes will be stored in the customizing tier. Okay, and there is another tier that we call it workbench tier. Who will use this workbench? Whenever the development team, the ABAP team, the coding team will do any change, then that change will be stored in the workbench tier. Clear? What is customizing? What is workbench? Any questions so far?
Oh no.
Usman?
For now, everything is
Okay.
good.
So as I said, there are two types of tier: customizing workbench, customizing we consultant do. Okay, workbench the development team do, the ABAP team or any development team. Now there is a difference also. Okay. Uh, uh, okay, let's go here. As I said, there will be development system, then you will have the quality system. We call it QAS actually in most of the company. Then we have PRD system. Now, in development system also there could be, this is your server actually. Okay, this is your servers. Then you will have some client number. Okay, these are all technical stuff. You don't need to bother what is this client and all, but you see, when I have logged in, this is my client number. Here you can see the client number 100. Also, when you log in, also you see when I'm trying to log in, the client number is here. So this is your client number. Okay. So each server can have their own client number. Let's say development have 10. What is our client number in our system? 100, right? So there could be 100, 200, and 300. Generally, in development system only we use this client method, client thing actually. In quality and production, we don't use it. It will only have one client number, something. Let's say 100 or something. That's it. Okay. But in development system, we use this one. They're different client. Why we use? As I said, let's say client 100, we consultant will be using. As I told you earlier, that dev server is further divided into further system, right? Then let's take two only. Let's not confuse. And this will be used by the development team. Okay. In our case, we are only using 100. So as I said, it's a testing system, so that's why they have only using one. But in most of the company, you will see two client. So when you have to do some changes, you will go to the development system, you will choose the client 100, then you will log in. But when the web team will do some changes, they need to do, they will go to the development system, they will log into the client 200. Now, what is the difference in the workbench and customizing? Workbench, yeah, you see your customizing tier. So now see, when we are doing any change in the client 100, okay, like in this case, I'm creating a, let's close this. I'm creating a inquiry document type. I'm storing in this TR number. I press OK. So now you see that document type is created. That if when I go to display, you can see that IN7, right? This is what we created, 9M. So now, in which client I have created this one? Anyone?
Development
No, no.
100.
Development system. What is the client number?
100.
100, exactly. So now, this change, whatever we have done, this ZIN7, it got saved in customizing TR. So what will happen? This change will not come automatically with the client 200. It will not come automatically. You have to move it. Okay, you need to move the changes whatever you are doing from 100 to 200. Then only you can see the IN7 in development system. But when the development the development team do any changes, I think yeah, this one got dropped. I think. Oh, it's already 10.
Yeah, distance.
Okay, okay. Let's stop here only. Then we will discuss from tomorrow. Let's not, because the other people will be
Okay.
waiting there.
Yeah, yeah.